What's up? Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads, and check out the links posted in the description down below to support the channel. Thank you. So before I get into this video, I just want to let you know and remind you that criminals were released when the sniffles were on here in this country over the last 2 years. Politicians have been earning upwards of 100,000 on properties that they didn't register. They seemingly forgot about them and forgot to register them, even though these same politicians are very good at claiming their expenses. Millions indeed, 70 odd million has gone missing according to the HSC. 3 billion was found down the back of the couch there by Pascal Donahue to import people into the country when there's already a problem with housing here in this country. Yeah, wave them on in there, lads. Memo files are walking around the country like Chico McCamden that it took citizen journalists like Philip Dwyer to be bringing that to attention, so it's that the Minister for Justice, the Department for Justice, and indeed the Gardaí will get the finger out and do something about that. But just to put that out there again, memo files are running around the country, no problem. That's where we're at. And the fact that I have to dance around that word, by the way, lets you know everything you need to know currently. Leo Varadkar, who was the former Taoiseach, the Curtin Taoiseach, and soon to be Taoiseach again, was under criminal investigation. Yet this is where we find ourselves here now. But here's the positives, and you know me, I'm a very positive person. The positive side of this is now it's starting to wake people up, and they're starting to understand now, in my opinion, that the law in this country is inverse. It is not working for people that are sensible people, that are law-abiding citizens. Instead, it's doing the complete opposite, in my humble opinion. Again, speculatively, allegedly. So what you've got here is a situation that is waking a lot of people up. They're looking at this here, and unanimously across everybody that I've been talking to for the last week or so, they all would say this guy is completely right. And I think that's fantastic to see. There's a real move coming now, I think, and the momentum indeed is with people who are sensible, reasonable, logical, and rational. I was talking about that with the Owlboy recently, and likening it to like the Roman Empire, he was talking about, say, the era of decadence and how that all fell and the Roman Empire fell. And I said, well, this is kind of similar. It's an era of woke and a woke empire. And like all empires before, this one will fall. Teacher Enoch Burke sound to Mountjoy, prison for contempt of court. Enoch Burke told the High Court, I am here today because I would not call a boy a girl. This is where we're at now at the moment here in the world, that they want you to betray your own eyes and ears for the feelings of someone else that probably needs a lot of help. To be fair, when you look at, for example, Ezra Miller, he has admittedly come out, he is one of these individuals that wants to grammatically incorrectly label himself as a they, even though he's a singular person. He has come out recently after the litany of incidents that he's had and said that he needs mental help. I wonder if there's a correlation and connection amongst these things. Enoch Burke has been committed to Mountjoy prison for contempt of court after telling the judge he would not abide by a court order restraining him from attending for work while suspended, claiming that to do so would violate his religious beliefs. Now, as you will notice here down below, they talk about him being an evangelical Christian. If you were a follower of the religion of peace, I'm sure this would be a non-issue. You see what I mean? See how these things trump each other? It's this woke mental gymnastics that they go through. Someone's in the oppression Olympics here, and it depends on your circumstances as to who is going to be the victim. Seriously, this is what's been going on. The school teacher opposed an application from Wilson's Hospital School for his imprisonment, saying, I love my school. I'm here today because I would not call a boy a girl. Fantastic stuff, fantastic example in my opinion. And what I would say is free Enoch Burke. I don't think the powers that be understand this situation here, and they don't understand the public sentiment behind this, because as I said, unanimously, even people that would be more so left leaning are not having this. They really aren't, because they're looking at a boy, for example, and this is the larger picture, which again, it's very easy to gloss over this. They're looking at a boy, say for example, and saying to themselves, this individual could be in the changing rooms down with my young one. And this is the point that I'm coming to now. Where are the parents in all of this? The parents should be supporting this man 100%. And base patriots and indeed base parents should be going towards, as we'll see here down below, the likes of the board. They should be running for those positions, because when you've got a principal here that's Niamh McShane, who has slinked off now to another job, that's what's important. You need to be on that board, because if she comes along and says something like this nonsense is to be abided by, you have to be strong enough to go, no, that's not happening. You know what I mean? He told Mr. Justice Michael Quinn, "It is not something I will do. It is in violation of my conscience." The evangelical Christian was suspended on full pay on August 24th. Again, they wouldn't have an issue about, anybody of the religion of peace. Indeed, in early 2022, there was an incident in Sligo. 2 lads unfortunately passed away. Someone involved in that one, they hushed it up really quickly, as you have noticed, and didn't talk about those 2 men at all during the month of June. Weird, that one, isn't it? On August 24, pending the outcome of a disciplinary process after clashing with the school's principal and board of management. That's why you need to be running for those positions. I keep telling you, grassroots positions, over a request that teachers address a trans former student by a new name and use the pronoun they instead of he. Again, that's grammatically incorrect, so I don't know how that's been abided by a school. However, he continued to turn up for work, prompting the Church of Ireland Diocesan Boarding School to seek and secure an interlocutory injunction from Miss Justice Siobhan Stack last Wednesday, restraining him from coming to its premises in Multifarnham, County Westmeath until September 7th. Despite this order, he continued to come to school each morning. This led to a further application from the Board of Management. See, this is what I'm talking to you about, the Board of Management. That's a position that should be up for grabs. And nothing will frighten these people more, by the way. If you were someone that's here in this situation that totally agrees with them, pull your child out. That's what you can do. That'll send a message, because that is what is going to panic these people, and indeed should force resignations. Again, as I said, where are the parents in all of this? Are you going to abide by this? What about when something gets out of hand? Oh, we didn't want to hurt their feelings. Yeah, alright, well, you've seen where that's ended up now, haven't you? Miss Justice Miriam O'Regan. Seems to be a bit of a connection amongst this. I can't quite put my finger on it though. Ordered on Friday that Mr. Burke be arrested and brought before the court today. Rosemary Mallon. Again, I just can't seem to put a connection amongst these things here. Counsel for the School's Board of Management told Mr. Justice Quinn that it was not seeking to punish Mr. Burke, but was simply seeking to coerce him into abiding by the order to keep away from its premises. I doubt, doubt they're on the punishing him. I mean, this is the current situation that this guy finds himself in, which is he's now sitting in Mountjoy. Meanwhile, people there that are not sensible people are out there running around. You know what I mean? It is with a heavy heart that the school has had to bring this application, she said. Doubt on that one as well. And like I said, in previous talks, when you talk about topics like this is very much so a culture of fascism that you're saying right now. Like, the left hand side like to throw that word around really airy-fairy as much as they like, but the point is that he's been denied his opinion regularly. And when he's tried to address it with this person, indeed the principal, Niamh McShane, who was moved on to another job, he's been denied. So where is his opinion on all of this? And shame on the parents that have gone along with this and have pushed this on. Shame on you. Counsel said Mr. Burke's own account satisfied the criminal standard of proof of beyond all reasonable doubt that he had breached the order and would continue to do so. Ironically enough, none of the stuff that I've mentioned at the start of the video has been punished whatsoever. Oddly enough. Mr. Burke, who represented himself, sat at the front of the court on a bench reserved for senior barristers after being invited to do so by the judge. He confirmed that if he is not jailed, he intended to turn up for work at the school tomorrow morning. This is the thing. This guy is obviously a hard worker and a grafter, and he's interested in getting in and doing his job. And these people want to deny him. Like, this is a crazy situation that you're in. When you find that sensible individual that's like, I just want to get on with my job, I don't want to engage in nonsense, has been told, yeah, on to Mountjoy prison with you. It's outrageous. Mr. Justice Quinn said the only matter he could concern himself with was whether there had been a willful breach of Miss Justice Stack's order, and he could not concern himself with issues raised by Mr. Burke about a suspension. That to me shows a little bit of sense, perhaps, I will say, from the judge. But again, surely at this point in time you need a base judge to be sitting in there going, yeah, this whole thing is nonsense, don't throwing this out, get out of there, go back to work there, and the principal's moved on, and carry on with yourself. It's absolutely outrageous, isn't it? I order he be committed to Mountjoy prison and remain therein until he purges his contempt or until further order of this court. Earlier, Mr. Burke had told the court, I'm a teacher and I don't want to be in prison, I want to be in my classroom today. Again, reiterating his statement that he wants to be working. It's shocking stuff. It's shocking that we're having this situation here in Ireland. Never did I think that this was going to happen here in this country. I thought it was going to stay in America and we'd have a bit of laugh about that. But now it's that they're moving its way over here very quickly. But To me, people ain't having it, but people need to be speaking up. It is reprehensible that anyone's religious beliefs could be taken as a ground for misconduct or gross misconduct, he said. Fantastic response, because again, this is the same type of stuff that's been afforded towards the likes of the religion of peace constantly, and weirdly enough, from the alphabet group too. The alphabet group too, as you will quite clearly notice, are big fans of the religion of peace, and that is a hypocritical statement if ever there was one. Now, you know my thoughts on that one, because I think it's all about setting up division, but we shall press on. The teacher said that Transformers were against his religious belief and contrary to the teaching of all major church on the island of Ireland. Were I to obey the order of the board of management and the order of the court, I would have to accept that sticking by my belief in male and female is wrong. It is not something I will do. It is in violation of my conscience. Awesome. Were I to go into school and bow to something I know to be manifestly wrong, it would be a shame and a disgrace on my part. I tell you what, this fella should be running for a position in his local area, because this is the type of rhetoric and this is the type of noise that people want to hear. Again, like I said, they are tired of this era of woke, this, oh, you can't say this, you can't do that. No, hang on here. Sensible stuff needs to be talked about, and it needs to be followed. I cannot purge my contempt by holding my Christian beliefs in contempt, he said. Mr. Burke hugged his father and brother Isaac, who had been watching from the body of the court before being taken away by Gardaí. He had been arrested at the boarding school's premises this morning and brought to the court by Gardaí, arriving at 10:30 a.m. However, the hearing of the contempt application did not get underway until 2 p.m. as there were other matters on the court's list. Then they go into talking about his family and what is happening with them. And I think one of the most interesting things that are said amongst here towards the end, you talk about his sister, and they talk about amorality as well, and permissive framework there, for example. It is very interesting to see that this is kind of near the end, by the way. Now, I was talking about memophiles there earlier on, and as I said there, you're seeing the likes of Libs of TikTok and various other groups that are out there now. For example, the likes of the Hodge twins and Crowder and all of these bigger YouTubers out there that are highlighting these issues as to what's going on in America. Even Joe Rogan as well also are highlighting these things, and the language that's been introduced in America. Like, they're talking about, for example, the fact that they like to introduce maps. Now, you just have to look into that one, and I mean, this is what these people do. They change wording on things rather than stating exactly what it is. They give it a flowery description rather than saying what it is. And indeed, when they're talking about maps, they're talking about memo files, you know what I mean? So this is what the article then goes on to do. It goes on to tell you a little bit of history about the family, as if you're going to agree with the article and saying, oh my God, look at these Christians. Yeah, fantastic stuff. And these are people that are holding their own beliefs. And the thing is this, you might not agree with them, but that is supposed to be the society that we live in. We are supposed to have opposing views. And indeed, if you think that these people are wrong, that's up to you. But to get to this state of the game and indeed have it at this point in time, a man sitting in prison for holding a belief that is based in history, science, and religion, and yet there's other people out there running around without any issues at all, is beyond belief, isn't it? But that's Ireland 2022 for you, and I think with people's fingers being on the pulse and the internet being so powerful these days, people are starting to wake up as to what's going on. They're starting to wake up to the inversion. They're starting to wake up to the real fascism. And indeed, the people that are cheering this on from the child's point of view, and again, a great deal of pity goes towards the child because they are a child. And I mean, I remember when I was a child, one day I was Batman, the following day I was Godzilla. But my mother and father were very good people, and indeed are very good people, to steward me into a way of saying, listen, you're 8 years of age, you're not Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? And this is what's lost amongst society now and amongst people, because surely their own family and friends should be saying to them, listen, you're acting the clown here now, give it over. You know? Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.